The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Guardian Radio Today is brought to you by Alive, Burger King, The Cleveland Clinic, Commonwealth Bank, Epic Battery, Prince Masters, Ron's Electric Motors, and Wendy's.
And welcome to Guardian Radio Today. My name is Kahun Ankusara, also known as Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III, and we want to say happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday is organ of Guardian Radio Today here on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk all day. Of course, we have another exciting, another riveting, another provocative discussion for you today. I pray that your day has been going well, and I pray you're drinking your water. It is hot. It is hot. You know, August is like the hottest month of the summer, and so we pray these storms behave themselves and leave not only us alone, but leave everybody alone. Just stay out to sea. Yeah. But in any event, today's show is based around a lot of what we've been experiencing over the past, 48 to 72 hours. And in large part, what we've been experiencing for decades. We've had mass shootings recently. And of course, it's all through the media. I don't think anybody's not aware of the events that have been taking place. There always seems to be a new event taking place. A lot of our young black men are dying. It's not to say that our young black women are safe, but and largely, the young black men are the ones falling in the streets. But we want to have a conversation not just about young black men. We want to have a conversation about community, right? What is the source of a lot of this behavior that we're seeing right now in the streets? Whether we call it gang culture or whether we call it, just misbehaving, wanton behavior. I mean, there's all types of different lingo for what we're seeing. I've listened to the radio, I've watched television, I've seen the many-pronged approach as people chime in on what could be wrong. Is it our schools, right? Are our schools not doing their job as far as properly educating the next generation? Is it our homes? Is it poor parenting, single parent homes? So many single parent homes being led by the mothers, and then the few that are being led by the fathers, or those homes where mommy and daddy are home, but they're not really at home. You know what I mean? The marriage has gone south, and the children are suffering. We look at edutainment or entertainment, the types of movies that by adults as well as children. You understand? All of these things, I'm sure, play a part in what we are seeing in our country today. But I want to throw another aspect, another prong, because obviously it's not going to take just one thing for us to focus on to get this nation back on course. I have a special guest with me today. I'm going to introduce him in just a bit. He's the author of over 70 books. I have one of them with me today called Solar Biology or Lunar Astrology. Solar Biology or Lunar Astrology. And he's going to explain, just what solar biology is in just a bit. But in this book, it makes reference to a conversation that I had with my good cousin, C.A. Nuri, on one of his shows maybe a year ago. And there were many people who chimed in and said, hey, we want to know more about that topic. And this topic is a topic that, on the surface, it may appear to be provocative than it actually is. But I want you to get the children, because many of the schools haven't started yet. I want you to slow down a bit, and I want you to tune in as we talk about sex out of season. Sex out of season. What does that mean, right? I'm going to read an excerpt from Dr. Varma's book, Solar Biology or Lunar Astrology, and then we're going to bring him in. In the book, and I have one of the first editions of this book on page 141, there's a question. What is meant by the statement sex out of season or out of due season? What does this mean? What is this talking about, right? The answer in the book says, an exact time was given for reproduction of your offspring, so as not to have them born any month and any time, any season, out of due season, so as not to create all kinds of personalities. All of these different personalities are being created because we don't understand the sacredness of what we in the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah, natural sexual union. Not just sex, but natural sexual union. This sacred energy exchange, right? I'm going to let you think about that. How are we producing all of these different personalities to the point where we're afraid of our children, right? When you're driving through a group of children after 3 o'clock, you got to really pay attention because you don't know if rocks can start flying. Now they're children, whether they're 17, 18, 19, or in their early 20s, shooting up cars and more. Different personalities. So I want to bring our guest in. His name is Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma. He is the head priest, the head pope the Pope of the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah, Journey Home Group International. And he's an author, he's a father, he's a husband, and so much more. He's my dear brother. When I say Namastu means I bow to the divinity within you. How are you today, Dr. Varma, my brother?
Namastu, Uncle Sarah. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Listen, all I'm saying is it's hot. It's hot.
Let me tell you something. It's hot in England.
What?
London is, no, seriously, no joke.
Wow.
The hot one.
Wow. So they know they struggling over there because they ain't used to heat over there?
Well, I don't know about they. Black people here are used to heat. And other people, I'm sure they have a little bit of a
right. Yes, man. I know you doing just fine in the heat. So my brother, what's happening here in the Bahamas is not anything that isn't happening in communities all over the planet. Before we get into the discussion, though, I just introduce yourself to the listeners so that they know who you are, and then we can just dive right in.
I'm Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma, known as Basesh Hardo Hotep Ta, and I'm, I would say, a scholar, right? And I'm not saying it in the same with what I would fall up under. Mm-hmm. I'm able to teach Islam, Judaism, Christianity in depth. Its origins, its migrations, how these religions moved from countries to country. Christianity started off, whether some say in Rome with the Vatican, or some say started in Palestine, Israel, and the origins of the three faiths of the Judeo-Christian Islamic faiths coming out of that region, and how it moved and whose hands touched it, when it touched it, and how it changed it, and how that relates. By the time, we're looking at it, look at the area called Palestine, Israel. This area is about the size of the state in America called Rhode Island, the smallest state in the United States, very small, very small. And this one little small area now has over half the world's population converted to those faith systems. And this one little small area looked at the rest of the world and told the rest of the world, whatever you believe, whatever system you have, whatever way it's working for you, whatever way you may have already been chosen, forget Forget all that. Forget all that. There's one little Rhode Island state, little small spot, told the rest of the world of melanin that whatever you had, whatever you believed, whatever you ate, whatever you dressed in, whatever music you sang, whatever language you spoke, it means nothing. If it's not Hebrew, no good. If it's not Latin, no good for the Christian or Greek. If it's not Arabic, forget it. It doesn't matter if you're a Bantu cluster. It doesn't matter if you're the indigenous languages of the Antilles, the greater and lesser Antilles. Don't matter. We're here now. You got to embrace what we're saying, the way we're saying it. Doesn't matter if you've been around millions of years and thriving. Our belief, the way we believe it, I'm not talking about the Most High God, but the Most High. The way we say it's supposed to be believed, how you raise your children, you're going to raise them the way we say. What you teach them, how you educate them, it's going to be the way we say. And if you don't like it, tough. And when it doesn't work and sends your children and you and your societies crazy, what is wrong with you black folks? Look at y'all, you can't even get it together. But when we met you black folks, wherever you may be, from Bahamas to Trinidad, Jamaica, to the United States, the natives of the United States, to South America, to Africa, wherever we met you, where you were thriving and surviving and interacting without warfare, without all these STDs and all these other diseases, hey, we didn't bring it. That was God's will. That, as a scholar, my job is to try to address and give melanated people who can understand what I just said without getting offended. Because, people get offended if you say it ain't red and it's purple. They get mad because I said people get mad at Tuesday because it comes between Monday and Wednesday, right? But ultimately, it's the reality. And to question that, all of a sudden something's wrong with you. So if I say I'm a reverend, a reverend shouldn't talk like that. Only mom shouldn't talk like that. If I say I'm a rabbi, well, who can talk like that? Scholars.
Yes.
So we as the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah, we are breeding and teaching and educating people to be scholars of the word. Doers of the word is one thing, but scholars of the word.
Yes. And that's very important because in this day and time, there's so many people that have so many questions regarding what's going on in our various societies. Like I was saying at the beginning of the show, over the weekend, we had a rash of shootings and police chases and just a lot of craziness that left the nation on pause, right? The prime minister spoke out about it. The leader of the opposition spoke out about it. We've had different community activists speaking out about it, pastors, etc., speaking out about it. And everybody has their take on it. And every take, is worth listening to, right? I wanted you to share from the perspective that you just gave with regard to understanding what has happened to us, with regard to religion, with regard to family, with regard to how we raise children. And in today's show, I wanted to begin the conversation with how we're starting these families, right? Man meets woman, or woman meets man. They have sexual intercourse, or what we say natural sexual union, child is born. In many instances, we are seeing where children and parents aren't necessarily getting along very well, or we as parents don't understand what happened to our children, or children looking at their parents like, we don't know what happened to you. Something has happened. You wrote a book, Solar Biology or Lunar Astrology, that talks about this phrase, sex out of season or out of due season. Can you explain what that means, and does that have anything to do with what we're seeing in the world today?
Well, the first thing I would say is I'd ask everybody to get the Bible out. If you're at home or if you have your phone, pull out your Bible, right? Because I got to make it clear. When I say I'm a scholar of religion and faith systems, not just Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, but the world's 12 faith systems, right? The 12 major religions of the world. So when we go to the Bible, if you're a Christian, if you're a Hebrew, we're all familiar with the book called the Book of John. And inside that Book of John, we're all familiar with John, chapter 1, right? It's the first book.
Yes.
And it talks about John 1:12, but as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name. And most people stop there and say, oh, that's Christians, that's us. Okay, cool. Next verse. Which were born not of blood, nor of the will of flesh, nor of the will of man, but of the will of God. Born not of blood,
Yes.
so they're not a result of a rape. Born not of flesh, and not a result of two people just checking for each other, liking each other.
That's right.
Not IVF. Somebody really trying to have a child. We want a child. We just keep trying. We see when the woman's ovulating and really work to see, right? But they're born of the will of God. Now, this is like the Christ, right? Because we're talking solar biology. And the Messiah, Yeshua,
Yes.
the Kadesh, who many miscalled Jesus, right? Because he didn't speak Latin or Greek.
Right.
He was one of those children born by the will of the Most High. And in the Old Testament, Samson was one of those children. He's Isaiah, the woman in Isaiah, she gave birth to a son who was one of those children. Hosea was one of those children. In fact, the book of Genesis, chapter 6, when it talks about the sons of God, not the first group, Genesis 6 says the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives. That's fallen angels who raped these women and gave birth to giants with 6 fingers on each hand and on 6 toes on each foot, according to the books of 2nd Chronicles. But then it says, but also after that, another group of sons of God, they gave birth to men of renown, men of uprightness, men of righteousness, who made a name for themselves. That's Genesis 6. So back to John. When we see what's happening in the world today, solar biology says because we were not supposed to be all mixed up like we are.
Oh.
People marry and I'm not talking about race. I'm talking about just gender. Back in the day, in the 1940s and 50s, when your grandmother and my grandmothers were around, families kind of put the kids around each other to kind of steer who's going to date who. And you know what I'm saying? So, and they had a similar upbringing. Now you can have a great son, and he bring home this girl that you be like, yo, what the hell? Or you can have a great daughter, and she bring home this guy, and you're like, oh, no, hell no. Well, the oh, no, hell no doesn't necessarily solve the equation.
Right.
It describes it, but doesn't solve it. That's out of due season. But that's our fault, because we're getting further and further away from the original systems that our parents raised us in.
Okay.
We are making the mistake. We, the adults, are making the mistake. We're following the world, and see, as the world says, okay, we're going to move the needle of the church. Churches used to be against LGBTQ. I didn't say against the people that are LGBTQ. They used to be against the idea of that behavior being considered Christian or Hebrew or Muslim. But now, can't really say that. You're being homophobic, and you're this and you're that. Oh, no problem. We let them move the line. Before church, no, we don't smoke, we don't drink. That was a good Christian, good Hebrew, good Muslim. But now, live and let live. You only live once, YOLO. So get a little just a cigarette, a little bourbon, a little rum, a little martini, whatever you drink. It's not much. I'm a social drinker. Occasionally I have a little drink. The line moved again. Used to be you went to church and women were dressed like women and men were dressed like men. Now you go to church and people dress like peacocks and they're wearing any and everything. Things they shouldn't be wearing to church. I know people listening and they know exactly what I'm talking about. So the line moved again. So now, remember now, children are going to do as you do, not as you say. Some of us, we come from the older generation. I'm over 50 now. So those in the late 40s, 50s, 60s, your parents, you did what they said, but you did what they said, not just because they said it, but your parents set the right behavior. But if we're around children and we're drinking and we're smoking, even though it's social, the child doesn't between social and antisocial and non-social. All they see is drinking. So you can't tell the kid later, oh no, that's society. And the whole time we're doing this, we're still saying, I'm Muslim, I'm Christian, I'm Hebrew. We're good, God-fearing. So God-fearing people can violate what's natural and what's unnatural. Now let's not talk about the sex scene, but we might as well. We're here.
Yeah.
It's a born out of due time. So now, sex used to be man, woman, bedroom, right? Close the door, you do what you do, and whatever's between the two of you, natural. Oh, but now we bring in swings and seesaws. There's walruses and squirrels. There's bags of chips and dips and all types of. I ain't into the chips and dips, by the way, but you understand what I'm saying. All types of other stuff, and we bring in other people. There's 3 or 4 or 5 people. No, at the Puffy situation. Oh yeah, and people say, "Oh, that's how." But a lot of people know that they knew people that do stuff like that. They may be people who do stuff like that, or they may be people who desire to do stuff. They done shifted us again, made us start thinking, well, now, wonder what it'd be like to have on me, or 4 women on me. And that's how it worked. And now women started asking, well, baby, what's your fantasy? I'm going to bring somebody for you. And the men start saying, well, baby, what? And now we done moved the needle. But when we move those needles, what we forget, once you've shifted the needle of dress code, the needle of behavior, the needle of diet, nobody's cooking anymore. We're all fast food, fast food, fast food. So we're not cooking anymore. We're not dressing right anymore. We're not being truly committed to our way of living, our spirituals anymore. The mosque, the church, the synagogue, whatever you follow, we're no longer consistent with our sexual behavior. We're no longer consistent with the drug use and alcohol consumption. Well, you put all that together and say, now let's go have some children. Come on, everybody. Everybody who's nice and messed up in the head, we're going to have children.
Yes. We got to run to a break.
Sure.
You listening to The Voice? Yeah. You set us up real nice. We'll start to take some calls. I see phone calls already coming through. We'll take some calls after the break. The voice of Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma is what you're listening to here on Guardian Radio today, talking about sex out of season, out of due season here on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. My name is Kahun Anku Sarah. We're back right after this.
When it comes to hearts at Cleveland Clinic, you can't miss a beat. You seek the best care possible, work with the brightest minds, and leave no stone unturned to get to the heart of the matter. Because understanding is always coming. For every heart in the world, see how we're advancing the future of heart care at Cleveland Clinic today.
Great news! Ron's Electric Motors' new location on Cowpen Road, right next to Island Luck, is open Saturdays and Sundays. So for those needing repairs on electric motors, generators, welding machines, water pumps, battery chargers, electric lifts, transformers, and power tools, Ron's Cowpen Road location can have you up and running on weekends. Don't forget, you can still visit Ron's Electric Motors on Wolf Road and Claridge Road, and now Ron's new location on Cowpen Road. Dial 356-0249 or 323-5267.
When you are hungry and on a tight budget, don't settle. Make the only choice and head on over to Wendy's and choose from a day's single, classic, or spicy chicken with a junior fry, regular drink, and 4-piece nuggets for only $9.95. Fat inclusive, order one today. That is made fresh especially for you when you order it. Wendy's is fast food done right. Certain restrictions apply.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And welcome back to Guardian Radio today. My name is Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III, also known as Kahun Anku Sarah. Our special guest today, Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma. He's talking to us about a reality that we often see, but may not slow down enough to really recognize how it's affecting us. We're talking about sex out of due season, talking about how we as a people are affecting our children, how we're affecting our families. And we really need to have this discussion. So, Dr. Varma, how are you doing, my brother?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Good.
Hoping I'm creating friends and not enemies. But
listen, we do what we do. we do what we do. All right. I saw the phone line start to light up, so I want to just open the phone line. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, of course, in the family of islands, 242-300-5720. Our text line is powered by BTC 422-4796. That's 422-96. And sure, whenever you get to those numbers, we'll be here for you. Let me just run to the text line. Let's see. This texter says, Uncle, all right, I'm offended that this caller referred to black people as a monolith, referring to people as a monolith.
No, I didn't.
No,
Okay.
yeah, but then I'll read the text. Let's see. Likewise, he seems to be referring to white people in the same. You don't hear Chinese people calling Japanese, Koreans, or Mongolians referring to other Asian groups as Asians. They identify who they are because they are unique groups. Well, Texter, I'm not sure what show you've been listening to.
I didn't say white people either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even hear the word. I didn't even say white.
Yeah.
Like white teeth.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Texter, continue to listen. I would urge you to take out your notebook and just take some notes. All right, Text. I'll get to that
Let's
question.
Just be clear. While you look at the next text,
Yeah.
let me say this. I'm talking about black people.
Yes.
I'm talking about I'm talking about our people. I'm not concerned with anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about us. We have allowed our moral compass. Black people used to have the moral high ground.
Yes.
During colonialism and Jim Crow and civil rights and slavery, because we were the people who were experiencing hell. We knew how to walk and talk, and we understood moral high ground. Dr. King and all of the liberators of the different islands, they always had the moral high ground. They were upright in their behavior. They were not doing corruption. They were upright in their behavior. So I'm speaking about that. Mm-hmm. And when we say in solar biology, the reason that's important, why did they choose Christ as his mother, if we're following the Bible? Why did they choose that? Mm-hmm. She had to be a virgin. Why was that so important? No, don't matter. If a man or woman has 1,000 sex partners, your past doesn't matter. If it didn't matter, why were they so focused on Mary being a virgin?
Yes.
If it didn't matter, why were they so focused on the woman in Isaiah being a virgin? If it didn't matter, why was it so focused on the women in Genesis 6 being a virgin? And not just a virgin, but just being good people. Why was Elizabeth chosen to give birth to John the Baptist? Why were women not just virgins, but women who were decent, who were ladies? Why were the men and women of decency were so important towards bringing forth righteous children?
Yes.
Because you judge the tree by the fruit it bears. If it's a rotten tree, we got to stop being rotten trees. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Solar biology says these wise men who were studying the stars to know, as the Bible and the moon and the stars, that you may know the signs and the seasons and the days. Mm-hmm. You know when to do it. Books of Proverbs and Ecclesiastes, they talk about for everything under the sun, there's a time and a season. That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
So for anyone who may have missed it, maybe perhaps there was a background noise on their reception or something.
We got
That's okay. It happens.
It happens.
Right?
It happens.
Happens.
We got it.
To be clear, what I'm speaking about is, I don't think black people are monoliths. Definitely not. I can go to the African continent. There's thousands of tribes.
Right. But
all of those tribes, what they had in common, we can talk about what we had in common was decency.
Yes.
For people to look at us, and I'm going to say this again. If you were people, this wealth, opulence, from animals to fruits to grains to rice and beans and fish and sea life and wildlife to gold to silver to platinum to rubidium, to all of this, and another group of people looked at you and said, we can take them. We can look at the people of the Caribbean. We can look at the people of South America. We can look at America. We can look at the people of the Asian Pacific, the Hawaiian Islands and those Polynesian islands. Somebody looked at you, and with all your wealth and opulence and ability to defend yourself, they felt they could come and take it from you. That speaks about your decency. You were so decent that they knew they could take you.
Wow.
So again, no one's going to look. You had all this wealth and they thought they could take it.
Right.
If I'm walking through a tough neighborhood and I see a guy with a full rope chain and the grills and all that, I'm not going to think I can take it. I'm looking at him. Nah, he's one of them. We're going to tussle.
Right.
But they looked at you rocking all your gold. I said rocking, that's the New York in me.
Right.
And all they could think was, we're going to take it. So they saw your intelligence. They saw your architecture in South America. They saw you in Tiwanaku and in Brazil and in Belize. They saw the pyramids you built. They saw the knowledge that you possess. But in all that knowledge and technology and clothing and food and culture and music and spirituality, what you didn't have was corruption.
Right.
What you didn't have was killing without purpose. What you didn't have was rape and pillaging and plundering, and that's what you didn't have. And now we in the Black community, Natives Americans, whatever group you choose where you're from, but what you didn't have before invasion by France and Portugal and Spain. Now I'm talking my wife, folks. Now I'm talking my wife. Right. So the person not now, because I'm talking history.
Right.
With France and Portugal and Spain,
and we got a call on the line
Germany,
waiting.
Right, what they brought in led to your destruction. And then even after slavery, even after colonization, when we should have turned inward, we went more towards integration, and we became further integrated into this, which the Book of Revelations calls living in the image and likeness of the beast instead of the image and likeness of God. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Let's run to the phone lines, 323-6232-325-4316, 325-4259, in the Family of Violence, 242-300-5720. Caller, you're on Guardian Radio today.
Yes, Rachel, as usual. And your guest, how you doing?
Doing well, my brother. Speak up a little bit for us.
Okay, sorry about that, yeah. Okay, I think it's a multifaceted reason, not just a moral compass on the problems with society nowadays. One, society is run and built off of fear. That's how you control a society. Once you take out the fear out of society, right, you bring out the fear of the parent, fear of the church, fear of the police. People nowadays have absolutely no fear.
So you're saying we should, hold on, caller, you're saying we should have fear. That's what you're saying.
You have to have fear, because fear controls the society. Any controlled society is built off of fear. Religion was built off of fear. Heaven and hell was built off of fear. We were scared to do things back in the past because, one, we were scared to go to hell. Nowadays, children don't go to church anymore, so we take the fear factor off of the health situation. So that is out the window totally. Second thing, right, we decided to become friends with our children opposed to parents. That took place, or who decided to do that, but it was a horrible idea, because once you become a friend to your child, they automatically disrespect you as a friend. They no longer see you as a parent. You only could be parent or friend. You can't be both. It's difficult to juggle in between the both. The third thing, environment. Environment plays a very crucial role on a society. A dirty, filthy environment creates crime. I'll give you an example right now. Notice if you have a person out of the hood, right, goes into a place like Atlantis, notice the different environment.
Okay.
You catch on to that?
I'm listening.
So the environment plays a very intricate role on the mindset of a society.
Because I know Jacquiard got beat up in Atlantis, right?
Okay, yeah.
But go ahead. I just messing with you, but go ahead.
That's a little nasty you did just now.
Go ahead, caller. I want Dr. Varma to respond, but go ahead. Complete your thoughts, and then we let him respond.
Yeah, okay. And it's, like I said, it's a multifaceted thing that takes place in a society causing crime. So the government is us. It's not the government. The government cannot solve crime. We have to solve crime.
Yeah. I appreciate
we are the people.
Yes.
We know who the hoodlums are. And plus two, the children only following us.
Right.
What they're doing now is, right, they depict as being normal. All the guns and all that, all the shooting, all the violence, they see as normal. We have normalized violence. Look at the internet nowadays. The stupidest things you do, you get more likes. Think about it.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Yeah.
How could you do something stupid and you get a like? Stupidness equals likes.
Thank you so much, caller. I appreciate you calling. Dr. Varma, the caller said, we don't have fear anymore. That's why I think. What say you?
Well, I won't say the word to Neely Fuller. He wrote a book called The Counter-Racist Code, and he talked about fear being false evidence appearing real. But I will agree in the sense of reverence, respect.
Yeah.
They also use that term.
Yeah.
So, but again, it goes back to the point we were making. Where did the respect get lost? It's not just the parents being friendly with their children. Is when you're doing corrupt or things that are not parenting around the children. You can't tell me don't smoke while you're standing there with a cigar or cigarette in your hand.
Yeah.
You can't tell me don't run the street when I'm never home every Friday and Saturday night.
Right.
I'm saying I can't morally discipline you because the children today is a very exposed world we live in with the internet and the cell phones.
Yeah.
I'm watching you, I'm seeing you, and I'm seeing you through the Facebook and Meta and TikTok and Instagram. They had a big thing last year. They had to go before the U.S. Senate and admit that they created software to target the minds of children, teenagers, specifically girls.
Wow.
And and anyone can go online, pull it up, Facebook and them, and they admitted, yes, put programs together to make girls feel bad. We put these filters in the phone that make children get used to seeing their skin flawless. Thus, when they see their skin not flawless, it has a psychological effect. They act out. So we're wrestling not against flesh and blood.
Right.
We're wrestling against principalities of wickedness. Someone's targeting our children. That's the point. But they don't target the children without first targeting us as parents. When they can convince you and me to become, as he said, friends with our children. Well, where's that come from?
Yeah.
It's first us being friendly with people that's not of our same level. When they can convince me as a man to start hanging out with men of lesser character, then it's very easy to convince me to want to be friends with my son because he's of lesser character. He's younger than me. He won't have the intellect, the experiences. So we start looking for people to co-sign, as the caller mentioned, likes. People who like me. Everybody wants somebody who agrees with them. Everybody likes to hear you're a great person. Praise God. Hallelujah. Allahu Akbar. But the moment you start saying something or challenging, so the caller 100% right. When we're looking at society, government, Neely Fuller said 9 areas of people activity.
Yes.
Religion, economics, labor, sex/gender, education, law, war/security, entertainment, politics. We used to have control of our minds as it pertained to the goals that we had for those things.
Yes.
Now, our minds, there's a TV station for everything I just mentioned that is setting the standard. If I want to talk religion, I can go to the Catholic station, EWTN. I can go to the TBN. I can go to the Word. I can go. So religion, 24 hours a day, someone's telling me what they feel, what they
But let's take a pin. We got to run to a break. Yes. So we're listening to the voice of Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma. Very, very important conversation for our country today. Callers, we see you, and we're going to come right to the phone lines when we come off of the break. Really explaining 9 areas of people activity that we used to have control of. Are we going to regain control of it? Let's have the conversation right after this break here on Guardian Radio Today. Back after this.
You try to rest, but roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it, just give us a call. Red Print masters, bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Don't wait for a storm to arrive. Stock up on hurricane supplies, make home repairs, purchase a generator, and more this hurricane season with a Fidelity personal loan. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you. Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And welcome back to Guardian Radio Today with your host, Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III. My special guest, Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma. Let's run straight to the phone lines and see what our listeners want to chime in about today. Caller, you are live on Guardian Radio Today.
Okay, is that me?
That sounds like you. You're live.
Okay, so I just want to draw your attention and your guest's attention to a very important book, Othello by Shakespeare. I believe that book was sort of like a forerunner of what was going to happen to black people. And in fact, before Othello takes his life, he recognizes that the white man or the white Italian he calls him the devil, in the sense that what is happening in Othello is that he is tempted and moved and pushed out of his heart into his head. And that is how the whites have dominated the world. Every people on the planet that were living connected to God, to the universe, to the earth, and everything lived through their heart. And so they were intelligent beings. The head is the beast. And they've moved all these people into their head where they do and perceive the world as dualistic, and they become aggressive, and they behave in the way that you're describing, and the only way back is to the heart where God resides. And it doesn't matter what laws you put into place or what police force you put out or how many jails you build. Human beings are supposed to be connected to divine energy that propels them and gives them direction. And nothing any man can create will ever do it.
Thank you so much, caller. That's powerful. Dr. Varma, what say you? We got about 5 minutes before we run to the news, but what say you about what the caller has talked about Othello and what it meant for what we're seeing today?
Well, again, all is spot on, right? Spot on as far as what was written. And by the way, it wasn't written by Shakespeare. When you check, you'll find out there was a black man who was writing it at the time, and it was being taken, but that's for another day.
Wow.
From France, a black Frenchman. And rewritten.
Wow.
Information. The reality of what we are seeing, yes, we have to turn back, but when we say creator, we also have to be mindful. Have we, as people of spirituality, Judaism, Islam, Christianity, Taoism, Shintoism, Rastafarianism, whatever we ascribe to, have we inadvertently allowed as she sister Paula just eloquently stated, have we allowed our spiritualities to be usurped? Have we allowed what 2 Corinthians 4:4 warns us, that the devil is the god of the world? Christ kept saying the prince of the world. The books of Ezekiel 28, the prince of Tyre and Sidon, right? The book of Isaiah, Ezekiel 16, right? They keep warning us, have we allowed invaders from Europe with their mentalities, and Indo-Aryans and Indo-Arabs and Indo-Orientals, people who created a caste system to steal the wealth and the intelligence of indigenous people from around the world, have we allowed them to now take over? And so if they're controlling the spiritual systems, then they're dictating where the spiritual system's focus is. Spirituality was never intended to be focused outwardly. Spirituality was intended to be focused inwardly. Know thyself.
Yes.
Right. I said, before you get the mote out of somebody else's eye, get it out your own eye.
Yes.
It was focused, get us right. If each man or woman, if we had to focus, when you go through a breakup, you go through couples counseling, you go through, and there's person, they tell you, okay, let's focus on you. Let's get you right. Because if I'm not right in my mind, in my spirit, in my behavior, then nothing I'm going to try to do with or for anyone else is going to turn out right. This is the difference.
Okay.
We're looking at a world, and that's why we say born out of due time. Who's born out of due time? They've been born out of due time. The invader, the colonizer, the subjugator, the infiltrator, the kidnapper, the enslaver, and we're now identifying with him because he's made his behavior normal. We had respect for our elders because our elders were interconnected to the culture. Once you let them take the culture, our elders, now we're the elders, right, had nothing to connect to. Without a culture, what am I going to teach the next generation? Like a tree without roots, it's dead.
Yeah.
The roots of the tree is the culture, or the roots of the tree is the means by which we access the culture, the soil. So we don't want to talk that black thing. We don't want to talk that Africa thing. We don't want to talk that indigenous thing. We don't want to talk any of those things. We only want to talk what he's interpreted and what he says we're supposed to preach about, believe in, pray to, pray about. And that's the disconnect. And once that happens, now what am I delivering my children to?
Right.
If I say I'm a Muslim, Christian, Jew, right. But do I know what I'm really saying? Do I have really done the homework, or do I just believe? And now these kids can go on their phone and they can pull up information about that mosque, that church, that synagogue. And they can dissect the pastor's sermon and find out, oh, Mom, he took that offline. His whole sermon is online. Many pastors are just going online and pulling the sermon offline. You that lazy? You had 7 days to prepare. And all they're doing now is going online and doing the same thing. But then the same pastor will get on the child and say, don't go to school and be going online and plagiarizing your school report. The kid just listen to you plagiarize a whole sermon. He don't even have to try. He can just simply hit record, upload it, and it'll find any sermon that sounds exactly like that. I don't know if a lot of pastors know. A lot of parents, the kids are doing it. So now, what do you think he feels about the church? What do you think she feels about you and our beliefs? And they start doubting because we're getting lazy. We're getting lazy. You follow? So some of the pain people are going to come out and talk against what's happening. We're at fault until we turn back. Where's the commandments? Where's the law? Whatever commandments, whatever laws, whatever indigenous, whatever thing that because everybody wants to argue out. We're living in a culturalist society, societies that lack culture. Bahamian, what is Bahamian culture today? Is it the same thing as Bahamian culture 50 years ago?
No.
What is Trinidadian culture? Is it the same? So what happened? How did the adults? We're the adults now. We may have been the children 50 years ago, but we're the adults now.
Yes.
So what's to blame? We want to blame the people that no longer here. My dad's gone.
Yep, mine too.
So we can't blame them.
Nope.
They're gone, right?
Yep.
So we can't blame them. It's on us now.
Yeah.
Now, what would they have done? What did your dad do? Oh, he formed groups of men came together.
That's right.
And formed societies to put their sons into. Formed societies, women formed for their daughters to go into with rites of passage. But I'm too busy for that. Our parents coached us. They mentored us. They were the track coach. They were at the track meet. Now we don't even put the kids in sports anymore. And if we do, we just want to drop them on and let the coach be the babysitter. So we're gonna have to.
Yeah. The voice of
we're gonna have to own up.
Yes, the voice of Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma with us today here on Guardian Radio today. I think we got to run to the news, yes? We're going to run to the news and then we'll jump straight back to the phone lines. So callers, thank you for your patience. Texters, you can still text us at 422-4796. My name is Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III, also known as Kahun Anku Sarah. This is Guardian Radio today on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk all day. Back after the news. Keep it locked.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
And welcome back to Guardian Radio today with your host, Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III. Our special guest today, Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma, the head priest of the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah Journey Home Group International. Let's run straight to the phone lines. Callers, I know you've been holding for a while, so let's just get you into the conversation and give Dr. Varma an opportunity to respond. Caller, you're live on Guardian Radio today.
Good afternoon, Uncle, and Dr. A.J., is it Varma?
Yes, Varma, yes.
Excellent. Good afternoon to both of you. Yeah, man, listen, boy, I enjoy listening. Man. This idea of having sex out of season or sex out of season really makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because, but then you'll find that society, once you have a partner, you can do it as much as you want. Anyway, there's some repercussions there. But it seems to me, though, Uncle, that the whole society wants to make us all liabilities, while, like, automation just does the work. So, so what happens? We become dead weight. And then companies look at us as, hey, let's get them off the balance sheet, and you retire with nothing.
Yeah.
But we have been taught so many lies, man, and I'll just give you one or two. Oh, the one I really want to look at is this thing. I went to church, and I thought about this thing about accepting the Lord Jesus Christ because I was afraid of going to hell, whereas I think the momentum should have been to accept him out of love instead of fear, because you should really honor your father and thy mother, not because you're afraid of them, but because you love them. So I think what we're looking at now is a society where you have a lot of people who probably was actually trying to do right because they're scared of doing wrong, but now that they overcome the fear of doing wrong, hey, it's easy. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And here we are again, being taught lies. Look at this way. You're familiar with a plunger. A plunger pushes and pulls, right? It pushes and pulls. Whereas the heart is a plunger because it pushes and pulls. And if you were to look at the toroidal field around it, you may begin to think about heart attacks a little bit differently. Okay? Think about it. It pushes and pulls. It doesn't just continuously pump.
Right.
Like they taught you that you pump. So obviously, we've been taught wrong, and we've been stripped of the knowledge that we once knew. And it's been replaced, man.
Yeah.
So I'm going to continue listening because, look, we got all this food that's coming on the market. We can't think clear no more because we don't have pure minds.
Yeah.
Child come up to you and say, Daddy, I have a problem. I don't want to hear it. That's the time for you to bond with that child. What you waiting for? So I appreciate what you're doing, Uncle, with the guests that you're bringing on.
Yeah.
And it's helping me a lot, eh?
Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, man.
Let's run right to the next caller, and then we get back to Dr. Varma. Caller, you are on Guardian Radio today.
Hey, how you doing, Uncle?
I'm great, man. Thanks for calling.
Listen, where does gentleman hail from? Because we have so many consultants and this and that as relates to our issues. But this is truth. You cannot... And... I've been saying this with our young people. I'm one of those who grew up in the inner city Camp Road.
Yeah.
And, my mother, my parents did everything, and the community around there, to make sure I had that rod of correction. And rod of correction may not that discipline. I talk about mentorship, guidance, all of those things to make me into the man that I am today. And I think what is missing in this country is us as parents now, I'm 47, is to be able, what is culture? Culture is for you to pass those knowledge and things down to your kids.
Yeah.
The same, we forget that nobody's mentoring these kids, Nobody, no guidance.
They're growing themselves up.
And then we feel that what are we chasing? We're chasing success.
Right. Right.
We're chasing success. And that when we chase that success, we put a tablet in their hand. No, don't bring them in the room. These kids are not included in what we're doing no more.
Wow.
Think about it. Even with leadership, oh, we can buy some more police cars and this and that.
Yeah.
When this gentleman spoke about the different tribes and Polynesians and Africans, they had their own. You speak about it all the time, and I listen to you laws that govern them.
Yeah.
That, when, as a young man, you once you're in this tribe, in this community, this is what you're supposed to do. These are the laws, and you follow them. No fear. This is how we live as a community. And that's what's now we got laws when you at the top breaking the laws, and then you want to govern people, and we can see the corruption, man.
Yeah.
How do you expect these young people who are not included in their country, who don't feel they belong, who parents giving them a good education, but they're not getting mentorship?
Right.
They cannot function. They don't have focus. They don't know where to go. That's our issue. And until we fix that, if we want to build a society, Uncle, if we want to build a society, you're going to work every day, building, getting loans, infrastructure, and all this stuff. To leave it to who?
That's
who
the
you
question.
leaving it to? What are you being successful for if you're not passing it to the next generation? Makes no sense. That's the generation you're leaving it to? Come on, man. My whole thing about my life is to be purpose driven. At 47, I then put my daughter to college. My job is to go out there and try to mentor a young man. And that's what you do in these communities. If we get more, we had boys brigades, we had all of these things. We don't have these things no more because people don't have time. Everybody want to be successful. But the country ain't successful. We'll never be able to function in this country if we don't put our time back in the generation. And that's all those villages was about. It's about future, long term.
I congratulate you for getting your daughter through university. That's not easy. Dr. Varma, I have a text here, and I don't know if you wanted to respond to anything specifically that the caller said, but I have a text here addressing something directly to you I wanted to share. It says, good afternoon. The scholar you have as a guest spoke about being assigned a time to have children. I've never heard this perspective, although he mentioned Genesis. Can you please speak more about this and explain how this is affecting humanity today? This sounds very skeptical, he says.
Well, no, it does. I would say that's skeptical. Name one creature in nature that doesn't have a breeding season. In every ancient culture, children were born during a certain time of year when the tribe had enough to feed the new offspring. That's not a skeptical. That's just logical. Right. And then we created these micro cities, right? Where we got away from agriculture, right? We got away from touching nature. We got away from horticulture. We got away from fishing. We got away from, and we all went inside the offices, right? In the desk jobs and that type of work.
Trying to be successful,
Trying to be successful. But now, in order to make sure that we'd have enough food, we got to eat the GMOs, right? That's what you're eating. We go to supermarkets, we're buying cans, and we're getting bags of chips and chemicals to preserve. And these chemicals have an effect on you. And these chemicals have an effect on our offspring.
Wow.
This is why the Holy Coptic Church said we must grow our own food. We must grow the food that we eat. We must raise our own livestock. If we're eating out of these supermarkets and places, which convince us that we can breed any and any time. If you knew you can't, Michael Jackson, you can't feed the baby, don't have the baby. If you knew that I won't be able to feed myself and my offspring right now, you'd have to think twice. But we don't have to think that way anymore. We just eat whenever, breed with whoever, meet whoever, wherever, and do whatever. So it does have a result, an effect.
Yeah.
What we're saying, again, in a 2-hour conversation, right? Somewhere in less than 2 hours.
Right.
What we're saying, and people, will grab pieces and run with the piece. We have to start doing things in tune with nature. Man has gotten out of tune with nature.
Yes.
If we're following the train of thought of the Bible, one of the callers, the lady who spoke, if we go to the Bible, even the caller who just spoke, about people invading our lands. I listened to, during the commercial break, you played a speech, I believe it was by the Prime Minister.
Yes.
And he said we have to emancipate ourselves. Then he said some words. And then he says, because no one can free us but ourselves.
Yeah.
I said, right, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. That was a real great quote, though it was broken up into 2 sections. Right? For those who can hear it, go back and listen to it. Go, that's Bob Marley.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But what he was, it's still true.
Yes.
Now, how to do that? You can't keep repeating the same stuff that other societies have told us to repeat. We're following America or England or France or Portugal and what's going on in their society. The same thing.
Yeah.
So how can we follow the same religion, economics, social structure, dress code, interpretation, follow everything that we see societies who are dying while they are now trying to make a U-turn back to discipline? We followed them into lack of discipline. We followed them into lawlessness. In fact, Deuteronomy 7 speaks about that. It says, if you follow the Canaanite and the Amorite and the Hittite and the Jebusite and the Archite, if we follow them, if we marry them, if we give our children to their children to hang out with, to watch their TV shows, and our daughters to their sons and sons to our daughters, if we serve their gods, their interpretations of God, their interpretations of community, their interpretations of capitalism, and everybody's chasing their own debasement. We follow Second Timothy talks about this. 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 3 warns us about this for those again who follow the Bible. It says if that happens, they would lead us to our own destruction. Deuteronomy 7. So we're following people. You know, if you follow a dying society, you die. Right. If you follow the ways of a corrupt people, you'll become corrupt. So we're following the people who themselves are now saying, "Oh man, something wrong here." Right. We follow. They have all the oldest churches in Italy and in Greece. I'm talking about the European. I'm not talking about the Church of Liability in Ethiopia. Right. We're following the ways of other people, and we're allowing them to dictate. Again, what you and I might say, scholars might say, people will take offense because it's speaking against the status quo. It's speaking against what people say you should be. In fact, it's doing what Christ said. You're challenging the love and believe not every spirit, but try the spirit. 1 John 4:1. So we're trying the spirit instead of people saying, wait a minute, maybe they got a point. In Bahamas, I grew up with in New York City. I'm watching it now happening in Chicago. Same thing. You know how many prayer vigils we've had in Liberia, in Ghana? Save our boys. Why are the children? Because these people who invaded us, they made a bunch of programs that were only focused on women. Let's have a real conversation. They were only focused on giving girls opportunity. I got 6 daughters, so I'm all for giving girls opportunities. They're all college graduates. The last one just started, right? So I'm 100% for that. But while we were saving our girls, no one cared about the boys. That was his system. His NGOs came in. And why not just save the children? Marvin Gaye didn't say save the girls, save the boys. He said save the children. But these NGOs, the people, the Peace Corps and these kind of programs, they came in focused in only on girls. Now, something interesting. Went to Liberia, went to Ghana. I'm here in London. I'm in New York. I'm in Florida. I'm in South Carolina. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm in Bahamas. I'm in Trinidad. I'm in Jamaica. These are the places I've been to in the last year or so. And every time I go somewhere, let's go sit down and get something to eat, I see women sitting with other women by themselves. No wedding rings. And these are successful women, good jobs, can pay their own bills, et cetera, but there's no man, there's no family. Why? Because you created a system purposely, because while they were creating this system for melanated countries that were now coming out of occupation or colonization, while they were creating these systems of save our girls only, they didn't do that. They made sure that their boys and their girls, when they go to university, as the great Shahrazad Ali teaches in her books, Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman and Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man, as the great Frances Cress Welsing, Dr. Cress Welsing, spoke about in her ISIS papers. They go to school to find a husband. They go to school to find a wife. They go to university and come out married. We go to university to get name and title and make money. And that created an imbalancement. We did a program in Bahamas about 2 years ago. We do it every year, but 2 years ago, the last 4 or 5 years, we've been coming to the Bahamas at a certain time of year doing Love Live Liberation. And one, I missed the great host, television host, and so much other things, news broadcaster. She has so many hats, health guru, right? Miss Shanique Miller's. One of the things that she we talked about, she and I, is this idea of how many, right in Bahamas, having 20,000 less men than there are women.
Yes.
So somebody created an imbalancement. So when we talk about single mothers, and why 1,000 less men in a country the size of Bahamas, with the population of Bahamas, how do you recover? And that's going on in Jamaica, that's going on in Liberia. So somebody targeted when they talk about environmental estrogens. So it's not merely just saying one. All of these things are interconnected because these are things that people that affect us. So how do we tackle it? We better change the way we're looking at the world. Who's really our friend and who really means us harm? Every time someone's handing you your best interest, we need to start questioning, is it not? Everybody who has sense, we're seeing what's going on in Burkina Faso and Togo and Benin. They told France, we don't want what you're offering. We don't want you. We don't want your language. We're going back to our own language. We don't want your money. We're going to sell our own product at the price we set. We're going to teach our children, and it's working.
It's working.
And there are Caribbean nations that are seeing that and saying, me too. Barbados. There's other nations saying, me too. I'm leaving the Commonwealth. Commonwealth is Commonwealth for them. It's anti-wealth for us. So Bahamas is going to face what Trinidad is going to face, what Jamaica is going to face, what El Salvador, Colombia, Bolivia, and Ecuador, and Nigeria, and Sao Tome, what others are facing. How long do we lay in bed with the people whose programs, whose very structure that they mistaught us is always to our detriment?
Always.
We clap and we applaud what Burkina Faso Ibrahim Traoré is doing. People applaud silently, but publicly we still toe the line. And as long as we're towing that line politically, economically, socially, religiously, anything your enslaver gave you cannot be good for you.
Amen. Amen. So, Dr. Varma.
Anything your enslaver gave you, I just want to say it again, I'm sorry.
Yeah, please.
Anything the enslaver gave you cannot be good for you. He would never give you something that's to your benefit. So you saying about, there you go. Did I said anything he gave you?
Right.
You want to be Christian, then be Ethiopian Christian. Go be Liabelli. That existed before the Roman Christianity. But as long as you grabbing Roman Christianity, Anglican Christianity, Arabicized Islam, you want to grab Islam, grab Mali, Timbuktu. Grab Senegal, Tuba, but you want to keep grabbing Arab Islam? You want to keep grabbing Israeli Judaism? It's going to be the destruction of us as it's happening. Not Marcus Garvey said it.
That's
Noble
right.
Drew Ali said it. Cress Wilson said it. Van Sertima said it. Idi Amin said it. Mandela said it. Winnie Mandela said it. Steve Biko said it. All the people that you tell us we're supposed to look up to. Martin Luther King said it. All the people. He said the moral high ground. America lost its moral compass. Martin Luther King, that everybody praises. Why are we not saying that if they lost their moral compass, why are we following them? But some of us get in bed with them. And we get so wrapped up in the blanket with them that when we see what's happening, when do we speak truth to power?
Right.
When do we speak truth and say the system is working exactly like it was designed to? It was designed to keep the colonized. It was designed to keep the religious blind. It was designed to make black boys kill black boys and black girls to have teenage pregnancies.
Yes.
If it wasn't designed, then it wouldn't be happening all throughout the United States, all throughout Africa, all throughout the Caribbean. That's a system, a global system called racism, white supremacy. People may not like it. I'm trying to ease into it, but I know we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So we go ahead and pull off the Band-Aid, right?
Yeah.
Racism, white supremacy. You may not like the term. You want to butter it up and call it no. It's all God's children. Well, God, which God? Because the God of 2 Corinthians 4:4, they say the God of the world is the devil. The book of 2 Corinthians 11:4, another Jesus, another doctrine, another spirit, a spirit of perversion. Isaiah 19:13, the spirit of perversion. What type of spirit has been released upon our people that's making us perverse, that's making our children kill our children? We need to question it. I didn't say we can't have Bible, but we need to look at the Bible through African eyes. We need to look at the Bible through Caribbean eyes. We need to look at the Bible through indigenous people's eyes. We keep looking at the Bible through the wrong prescription. We're looking at it from you're a lion looking at the world as a hyena and wonder you walking around acting like an anaconda. You're a lion. Lions don't behave like anacondas and expect to survive. And I'm saying it prayerfully for those people who got truth in them. Truth is bitter, but truth, if you got truth in you, what we're saying will hit you and say, damn, that's true. I don't like it. I don't like going to the dentist when he says root canal. Oh, no, but I know I need it. So we need to perform a root canal on the heart, mind, and soul of our people in Bahamas, in Trinidad, in Liberia, where I was born, in New York, where I grew up, in Florida, in wherever we may be. We need to take the cavity out. We got a cavity, y'all.
Yes.
And we can light candles tonight. Prayer visual. I've been to so many prayer visuals. I wish I could just get stock in the candles.
I know, right?
Because the amount of candles that they're burning, we can all be rich. But as long as all we're trying to do is just pray about it, it's not working. That prayer is not working. It would have ended.
That's right.
You told me that Christ died to redeem us from the burden, and that Christ died and we overcame Satan. Then why is Satan still dominating the world? And why can't I ask that without being labeled bad guy? I'm being labeled bad guy, but you see that what we're talking about is happening. And don't nobody want to stand up and say, we need to change course.
Yes,
that's why I respect Togo, and I respect Burkina Faso, and I respect Benin, and I respect Senegal, and I respect Sierra Leone, because there's people saying Mali, they're saying, get out, France, we don't want you. Other people saying Portugal, kick bricks. Other people saying Germany, get to stepping. Other people, you got to get Europa, the sons and daughters of Canaan, out of our business and out of our affairs and out of our economics. There's not that there's no jobs. There's no jobs when we're following his system. We got a society in Bahamas that should be feeding itself. Yes. All these boys that don't have jobs, we can have them in agriculture growing food. But that ain't going to happen when we're buying canned goods and buying prepackaged food from someone else. They're not going to let you do it.
That's right.
They're not going to let you stop buying their things. So we become, as scripture says, we become the inheritance for evil. Evil prospers off of good when good's not doing what it's supposed to do. We can go fish our own fisheries, raise our own food, feed ourselves, buy from self. There's black countries doing it today successfully. But as long as you're buying from someone else, you're never going to have enough jobs for your people. I'm not the greatest and smartest man on the planet, but I know what 1 + 1 equals. I know if we feed ourselves, we can sell to ourselves, we can buy from ourselves, and we can have an economy, because this was happening before we ever met Europe.
Calling, we see you.
Ourselves. All right.
The voice of Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma, imparting some necessary truth. Texas, we see you. Caller, we see you. Caller, let's run. Producer, let's run right to the phone line. 323-623-325-4316, 325-4259. And, of course, in the family of islands, 242-300-5720. Caller, you're live on Guardian Radio today.
Good afternoon, I'm cool.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
Good afternoon. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm listening. I'm listening, and I'm trying to understand exactly. I agree in part. Now, what your guest is saying, but the thing is, who is doing these things to us? Because, I see what's happening throughout the Caribbean, where we see blacks killing blacks. When you do, I am data driven. I like to follow statistics, read and analyze and see what's going on. But just say over the last 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, maybe 8 years, I don't see any white Bahamians killing one another. The only people
because the white Bahamians don't have the media pushing that white death is okay. We've become complacent in movie. You watch the movie, the bad guy wears black or is a black person. We watch Law and Order. We watch Criminal Minds. We watch SVU. We watch SWAT. All of the programs show black people killing black people. So that's why you don't see other people killing other people, because no one has been made to be comfortable with them killing themselves except you and me.
My point is though, this country is managed by black leaders. He's a black leader.
Who swear to who though, caller? Who do they swear to after they went elected?
Don't attack the leaders. Whoa, let's not do that. Don't attack the leaders. The people get the kind of leader they require. A leader gets the type of people he inspires. So if you and me are, then we will have corrupt leadership. When you and I decide that we no longer want corruption, then our leaders will become the type of people we need them to be. That's what
the message should really be directed to the leaders who are using these legislations, who's using the
But
policies.
we elect
who are
the
using
leaders. That's the
programs.
point that I'm making. We elect them. You can't elect the person and then get mad. You put them there. See, the Chinaman, when he puts Xi Jinping in power, Xi Jinping knows what his people expect of him, and he's delivering because his people have discipline. You cannot have an undisciplined society electing anyone that's going to change your condition. Undisciplined people elect undisciplined people. We must take back discipline. Each person has to decide to be disciplined.
If I get you correctly, this is a deliberate extermination of a particular race, and it's a genocide we're dealing with.
100%. 100%. But it's a genocide that the people that is being perpetuated against have been made to feel comfortable with it. Imagine we are walking into a horror chamber with popcorn in our hand.
So in essence, see, because, see, sir, this is what I'm saying. When I go into that newborn section in PMH, I don't see no robbers. I don't see no gang violence.
No, because it's in the DNA. Whoa, but that's the DNA. Epigenetics says it's already in the DNA. They're targeting the DNA. That's why we said born out of due season. If I'm targeting your DNA, if I'm putting cancer cells in the baby before the baby's born through environmental cancer-producing toxins that mother is drinking the water from, because we're buying water in bottles with all kind of chemicals in it instead of bottling our own water, when that mother drinks this, our babies are being poisoned and not being given a... Say again?
I've heard this. I don't want to... See, I heard this argument, right? But the thing about
it's not an argument. It's not an argument. Argument means it's no scientific. This is reality. Babies are being born with cancer cells. That's reality.
No,
that's
but
not an argument. The food. It's been the chemicals in Europe is selling foods to the Caribbean nations that are banned in Europe. I'm going to say this again.
I agree with you with that, right? But then my thing
is, I know you're with me, but I want the people to hear that. That I'm in England and there's foods in England that you cannot buy. It's illegal because they say it's chemicals. It's going to kill our population. I get on a plane, I fly to Bahamas, and I see it on the shelf.
Yeah,
that's
but then
purposeful.
My thing is though, everyone, when you go into the supermarket, these food are not sectionized where you see where the white Bahamians can eat this, that, the black Bahamians. We all eating the same food.
Right, so we're all getting the same disease, right?
No, but then my point
is killing them. Yes,
when you look at the
right.
violence, when you look at the violence only in the inner city and among the black people.
Because you grabbed food. Now add the rest of it. That's the food part. Yes, so the food's going to lead to the disease. Now take away the culture. Now take away self-pride. Now take away misinformation. Now add miseducation. Now add all of the other components, and thus the black result is different. If I only grab food, then we can talk diet. But it's more than food. As I said, Neely Fuller told us religion, economics, labor, sex, gender, education, law, war, security, entertainment, and politics. So it's not one thing, it's 9 things that are interconnected, that are affecting all of put those 9 things together. We're watching Burkina Faso do it. That's why they keep trying to assassinate the young man. We're watching Togo do it. We're watching black nations under our watch, and we need to stop and pause and say, look at what they're doing. Look at how they're doing it. Study that strategy because it's working for them. It's working for them. They had a high crime rate of people killing. Ibrahim Traoré said, all the people sitting in jail, we're going to commute your sentence. We need our roads built. You're going to work. We're going to pay you, but you're going to work for the country. We're reclaiming all of our natural resources. That's how it's done. Amen. But he didn't do one thing. He addressed the 9 areas of people activity. He said, we are Burkina Fasosians. We eat jollof rice. We use red tomatoes, but France has us buying their tomatoes. We're going to build our own factories and employ our own young men and women in those factories to produce the tomatoes that we're eating. It's not like if this was 20 years ago, people might say, well, we don't know if it's going to work. We're watching Togo, Benin, and Burkina Faso do it. We're watching Niger do it. We're watching Sierra Leone do it. All we got to do is have the chutzpah, the cojones, the heart, the vigor, and do it now like it's a distant movie. That's the point. I'm not speaking this to the call. I'm saying this to anyone listening.
Yeah.
To anyone listening in.
Anything else,
all
caller?
got a role to play.
Yeah, I
We're
wanted
either
to.
gonna be
I wanted
complacent.
to expound a bit on, but I can't get a chance. Because I'm hearing your guest. I've heard the Rastafarian. They talk about the colonial slavery. They talk about. I know Bob Marley said we got to emancipate ourselves. But my thing is this. I have a daughter, and from in primary school, junior high school, I was telling her, they're not going to pay you no minimum wage, not under my watch. I'm going to make sure you get a good education. She went through the school system, passed all of her subjects, and junior high, the BJCS, the BTCSE. She got a full 4-year scholarship, and by the time she turned 20, she had 2 degrees.
Amen.
2 degrees.
That's awesome.
Right? But when I look at our black leaders, the only thing I could equate or basically tie what your guest is saying into say, well, it's our colonial masters, is that they're using the colonial laws, the same laws that the white man put in place to divide and conquer us. They're using a whole lot of them towards us. You see, even and it's done to politics, for example. When I look at politics, I look at it like a triangle. As you get top, that's where you see FNM, PLP, and whoever else, family, friends, over there at the top. There's no division. But as the line comes down, it becomes broader, and that's us at the bottom, all divided, all fighting among ourselves. But I think it has more to do with what we're experiencing.
Go ahead, brother.
May I ask some questions?
Yes, go ahead.
And I'm asking it as an honest question, but it's a reason. He mentioned his daughter and her successes, and I give him a lot of credit because as a father of 6 girls, I know the difficulties. Your daughter's how old at this point?
She's 28 now.
She's what?
She's 28 now. But then
how old is your daughter now?
No, I couldn't hear him.
28.
How old is
28?
I'm sorry?
28.
Yeah, 28 now.
Is she married?
No.
Okay, that's the concern that we're talking to. There's not enough men of her level. So the young boys that...
but then you see, because I think you may not know. You may not know, right? But
I'm speaking to everyone who's listening.
He ain't just targeting you. Go ahead.
What we're trying to deal with is not just an individual. One of the things we always say, as a father of boys and girls, I have sons and daughters. I always understood, yes, I could just raise y'all and do a great job. But at some point, you're going to have to marry somebody outside of this family. So I'm going to have to make some moves to affect the broader scope. Because if not, I'm going to send you into this world and you're going to be at a disadvantage. That's what we're speaking to today about born out of due season or born out of due time. We are making great headway in educating a generation within us of women who are successful when no one has been focusing on these boys. No one's been focusing on these boys, And that's what, but meanwhile, while we haven't been focusing on our boys, the system of Europe has been focusing on the black boys, has been genetically trying to annihilate and imprison them. That system of the colonial masters that the caller mentioned, we cannot break the system, but we can reprogram our boys so they don't become victims of the system.
All right, last comment, Cleaver, go ahead.
Yeah, all right, and this is the point I was trying to make. When I first came on the scene, we had a situation where we had polysocialization of our boys. But over the last 20 years now, we've seen it now to our girls. But this is what they use to divide and conquer us in the Bahamas. When I came on the scene, having a child born out of wedlock, I took them up to court, because I wanted some parental involvement after the situation. They had a law on the books right up to 2009, which states that children born out of wedlock have mothers but no fathers. This government policy, this is the government legislation. So you had mothers going against fathers, because when a child is born, the child needs both parents. You place the child on a seesaw, Put the child in the middle and put each parent on both ends. Let one parent jump. See what happens. The child will have to just tumble over. And this is what they're doing to us. They're using these legislations to divide and to conquer us. But the Family and Child Protection Act, that bill recognized both parents. And the state isn't respecting both parents and members of the extended family by having these colonial things in place. So this is basically what we need to look at. The type of legislation that is driving this, or creating this amongst the black community. Because we have legislation that alienates fathers. The biological father, we are being alienated. But then the stepfather, who is 6 and 7 times more likely to sexually abuse children in their care than the biological father, say about all children, their children and children who were born out of wedlock. So this is basically what we need to look at. Look at the legislation that is dividing and conquering us and creating all this bloodshed, and let's see how we could rid ourselves from these colonial systems.
Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. We got to run to a break. Our guest today, Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma, here on Guardian Radio today. My name is Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III. We'll be back right after these messages.
He is the king of crunch, the master of flavor, and he's going to set your taste buds on fire with the new King Crunch sandwiches at Burger King Nassau. Crispy fried onions, pepper jack cheese, and bold chipotle sauce. Plus, fixins cover a crispy chicken patty or 2 flame grilled beef patties on BK's new King Crunch sandwiches that are bigger, better, and bolder than anything around. And they're only available at Burger King Nassau. Try one today.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good to be alive.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Now let me see now. 326 ETIC. Hello? This Epic battery. This Miss Beulah from round the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time. I live Fox Hill and Fire Trail. It's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326 EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And welcome back to Guardian Radio Today with your host, Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III. Our special guest today, Rev. Dr. A.J. Varma, on the August 12th edition of Guardian Radio Today. I want to run straight to the text line. It says, "Good afternoon, Uncle. I see the speaker is getting his references from the Bible, and he's also saying that we have been led astray by other people's corrupt culture, lifestyle, diet, and religion. Most of them use the Bible, altered or not, as the rule and guide of their lives. Should we also use then the Bible? Is the Bible our black people's spiritual doctrine? Or are there other texts that we should look to, understanding they are older?" That's the question coming in from the texter, Dr.
Well, excellent question. We should do exactly what every other group of people have done. The Bible, if I'm talking to people who follow the Bible, then I have to use the Bible and look at it from an African-centered perspective in order to bring them out. That was Jomo Kenyatta of the Mau Mau Rebellion in Kenya. He said, too many of our people are already into the Bible, to merely say throw it away. We must use it to show them Africa and its place within it long enough to liberate them from it. I quote Jomo Kenyatta. Now, what does that also mean? That means all of the theologians, all of us that are theologians and scholars and pastors and reverends, when do black people come together and say, why don't we translate the Bible? Why don't we look at it and translate it not only from a linguistical standpoint, but from a historical, from where Africa, everything's being translated from Greece and Rome and their perspective. Ephesians is a Greek city-state, Thessalonians, Greek city-state. When do we translate it from Nigeria, from its perspective, pre-colonialism? When do we translate or interpret it from Egypt before the Turks and the Ottomans and all the other invaders came in, the Arabs? When do we that's what, and before someone says, well, have you done it? Yes, we have the original books of the Bible. So yes, we've done exactly that. And what did we do? We took those same older manuscripts, whether Enuma Elish, Atrahasis, Gilgamesh epics, Litany of Re, Amduit tablets. We take the Elephantine papyrus. We've taken the Idris papyrus. We've taken the Edwin Smith papyruses, African records of Timbuktu. We've taken the Malian manuscripts and taken them, and as translating the Bible, infused their teachings into that translation so that it's centered around Africa. So that's exactly what our doing. The original books of the Bible is available. It's been around since 2009. That's exactly what we've done. So the call is spot on.
Yes.
Spot on. They are ancient manuscripts. So let's take them. We're doing it. I'm talking from 2009. It's available.
Yes.
I know. I typed it.
Journeyhomegroup.com. Journeyhomegroup.com for that and many other writings by Dr. Varma. Let's run to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio Today. Caller, you're live on Guardian Radio Today.
Yeah, good afternoon, Uncle.
Good afternoon, brother.
I of course I agree with everything, and I love this type of information coming out, and so I just want to make this one pretty quick. They're according to the Ethiopian text, I guess it's 81 and 88. So I've read them sporadically, so I really don't know. I've read Jubilees and a lot of others, but Sarah and Joseph and Mary, the Proto-Evangelon, and portions of Peter that's very brief and concise and contains more than the other texts put together. But the question for me is, I just like to put this in as relates to the destruction of the Caucasoids, right? As relates to their influence over the planet, right? And so we know Marcus Garvey would have gotten in trouble for words like Apapi mighty race, right? Apapi mighty people, Africa for Africans, those at home and those abroad. And so even if you look at those words today, if that was to become true, Europe would have never been enriched the way it really is. If that concept was adhered, was undertaken when even before he was saying these things. But as it relates to Charles Darwin, this is make it quick as eugenics, right? It's simple. He said in one of his famous quotations was that in the not too distant future, and this is not verbatim, this is almost verbatim, in the not too distant future, the civilized races of man will exterminate the savage races throughout the world, and the gap between the Negro will be as the gap between the white man or something will be as between the Negro as between the Negro and the baboon. That's last. I can't remember it verbatim, but I wanted to be doctor. I've heard about it because these countries with today, they have infuriated the Negro, and so because we are original, I don't like to use the word aboriginal, but Native people, the Europeanism and colonialism has always sought to infuriate. So Elmina, what it means?
Let's give Dr. Varma a chance to respond, and then we got to run to some more texts and calls. So Dr. Varma. Darwinism. How has that affected us as a people?
Well, Darwin, he was a eugenicist. This was the foundation of the eugenics movement, utilized to villainize and subjugate melanated people and their cultures.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, so many of us are buying into it, even though he was 100% wrong. Man couldn't descend from the apes.
Right.
Not black people, right? Because apes have low waist. Pale skin and colored eyes, straight hair.
Right.
None of that is us. So let's just start there. And if anything that you evolve from, that thing can no longer be. The woolly mammoth was the progenitor of the elephant. No more woolly mammoths once elephants came about. The saber-toothed tiger gave birth to the Bengal tiger. Bengal tiger comes around, no more saber-tooths. So don't tell me apes are still around, because I see them in the zoos. I see them. I've been to Trinidad. You go on the trail, you see them jumping through trees. So that theory is wrong. But it was used to call melanated people less than. And unfortunately, we've ended up buying into it unbeknown to us.
Yes.
Someone is causing us to devolve.
Yes.
Now, what do we do with that?
Mm.
What do we do with the reality? And it means we got to speak truth to power. But everybody's okay when they're speaking truth to power about what they don't believe in. But the moment you say what they believe in is wrong, uh-oh.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
How dare you? If I talk about the Muslims, Christians is happy.
Right.
Talk about the Christians, Muslims is happy. If I talk about both of them, how the reality is there was an original African Christianity that predates Europe, but that's not what we're following today. There was an original African Islam before the Arabians or the so-called Arabs of today. There were blacks in that region who controlled it, Kushite culture, but that's not what we have today. We have to figure out how to check our compass, our religious compass, our moral compass, our social compass, our linguistical compass, and do what other nations of people, black people, are now saying, look, we're going back. We had a principle in ancient Africa called Sankofa.
Yes.
You must go back to go forward. The arrow cannot go forward without the bowman pulling the bow back.
That's right.
If you don't pull the bow back, arrow can't go forward. And we've been so busy chasing him, thinking we're going forward, and we've been devolving. Now it's time to turn back. We all say, oh, when I was little, this didn't happen. Right. So what are you doing different today?
Right. Right. So Dr. Varma.
Stop doing that. Whatever that is, stop.
That's stop. Let's go back to go forward. I got a texter here that asks, Dr. Varma, what do you believe about Jesus Christ? Do you believe that he is the only way to salvation and eternal life, according to Acts?
I believe that 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 4 said that there will be days where someone will give you another doctrine, another spirit, and another Christ.
Yes.
I believe that when the Macedonians, Ptolemy, Soter, came into Nile River Valley African culture, civilization, under the Macedonian called Alexander the Greek, and formulated what was called Serapis Christos. I believe that John chapter 1, verse 41 said we found the Messiah who's being interpreted by the Hellenistic Greeks, Hellenistic Jews, African Christ as being Christos, African Mashiach as being Christos. I believe biblically it's telling us that. So we are following a book translated by the Vulgate and put together by the Roman Church out of Italy, which was Caesar's church. I believe that the church of Caesar, the church of Rome, the church of Ephesians, the church of Macedonia, where I believe that we Africans, because the wise men were Africans who went to find that Christ child. I believe that Revelations, which is why the churches run from it, describes him as having ears, hands, wool, feet as fine burnt brass, red eyes, and voice the sound of many waters. I believe that Daniel chapter 7, verse 9 describes the same thing. I believe that Revelation chapter 4, verse 3 says his skin was like sardine stone. So don't tell me sardine stone, which looks brown, dark brown, is a European. I believe that if we're worshiping the image of the beast mentioned in the book of Revelation chapter 13 and described in Leviticus chapter 13 as having yellow thin hair and pale skin, I believe that the cursed seed has now usurped the power and given us their interpretation, their translation, their chronological order of what they're calling the Bible, which is no longer the Bible, but has now given us another Jesus, another doctrine, and another spirit. I believe we need to go get those Ethiopian records. We need to go get those ancient Petra records. We need to get the ancient manuscripts. We need to go back and find our manuscripts before Rome's invasion. And there, I would believe in the Bible. I believe if we're only reading the Bible in 2025 in English, we're doing ourselves a disservice when there's free stuff right online, blueletterbible.com, free, where you click a word and say, oh, that's not what it says. Click it. Oh, it doesn't even say that. And you start reading it and looking and go, wait, so they know it don't say that. Why are they translating it like that? I believe that someone has given us Hellenization. Someone has given us the Olympians. Someone's given us Jesus and took us away from Yahshua to Jesus. And they're not telling us that Jesus is the name of Zeus. Someone has us worshiping the image of Zeus with blonde hair, a long beard, surrounded by white angels, and it has an effect on the psyche and the consciousness of the young people, and it brings about self-hate because nothing in the religion says that black black people are the founders and mothers and fathers of religion, spirituality, economics, governance, science, mathematics, and we've lost our way. So that's what I believe, that the Bible as it's held today, the way it's been translated today into English and French and Portuguese by English and French and Portuguese people, is to the betterment of English and French and Portuguese people, but to the demise of melanated people. When that same Bible goes to Korea, the Koreans make sure it's put in their language with their interpretation, and once in Korea, he looks Korean. If you go online and type Jesus in China, he looks Chinese. When you go online and type Jesus in Africa, he don't look like an African. Jesus in the Caribbean, he don't look like a Caribbean. So that means somebody, when it comes to you and me, is not allowing you and me to have a say-so in what we deem the image of God, what we deem and what affect that image. Because if the image wasn't important, then God would not have described his son. That's what I believe. If the call of
Amen and amen and amen. That's all the time we have, people. I do appreciate all the text, all the phone calls. I didn't get to every single phone call. I apologize, but we will have Dr. Varma back at some point. So we appreciate you, my brother. And we want to say stay safe. And thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kahun Uncle Sarah. Thank you to Galaxy. Excuse me, I said Guardian Radio. I was on Galaxy last night.
Right.
Guardian Radio in Bahamas. I want to thank you and thank that station for everything that you all are doing, just to allow the message to even be heard. Yes. Whether people agree with it or not, at least they were able to hear it and then make a decision for themselves. So thank you again, Dr. Cleveland Eneas III and Guardian Radio 96.9.
And for those who want to listen to the show again, it is on the podcast, so Guardian Radio Podcast, and I'll look out and put it on my page, Anku Sarah, on Facebook. Thank you so much, and stay tuned to 96.9 Guardian Radio, fresh news, smart talk, all day. Namastu.
Thank you.